welcome back.
You have no idea how close I just cut it. I just saw the calendar invite and I landed 13 seconds. I landed and there was 13 seconds on the counter. We are here. We made it. I am so ready.
We made it. Better late than never. But no, we're so excited to have you for day 2 of the synthesis workshop. How did you enjoy yesterday's day 1 workshop?
Awesome. Great energy, really cool tech. Love to see the Uniswap guys out and everybody else, but just awesome to see the community rally. Like when I look at that list of sponsors, I feel like I've tried for years to get sponsors like this. You and Benji know how to do it. It is so good to see that big list of sponsors. It's so exciting.
Yeah, you know what? And I think what makes synthesis unique compared to some of these other, or I mean, I don't know, not whatever, but we are trying to prototype and test out a bunch of new things for the first time. I know we say it's like a hackathon, but I do think it's something super separate from just a regular hackathon. We're using agents throughout the whole process. So you as a builder can use an agent and make it super, super easy to learn how to build. And then same thing for the judge. They're actually using agents to figure out their rubric, to figure out how they want to judge, to talk about their themes. Austin, I know you're right now making an
Austin XBT, shout out.
And some sneak previews. We're trying to see if we can make some sick UI for you. Maybe do some like voice stuff with 11 labs, and you can roast projects in real time. Like anyone can like spin up your instance and get like some Austin feedback. So
every time during hackathons, when someone pulls up like a presentation where they're like, this is the problem, I'd like to go through my 20-point slideshow. And like in a hackathon in judging, I'm like, boo, shut it down. Let's go. I want to see a demo. Straight to the demo. So I'm definitely going to set up my agent to be like that too.
Yeah,
like
the
heckling presentations. Yeah.
Show me it, and then and now you'll 100 infinite x your time. You can roast 1 million projects all out.
That's right, all in parallel. Yes, it only costs like $500 of Anthropic tokens.
Exactly, I know. We'll figure out how to actually do it so it doesn't make us go broke, but we'll see. Well, that's the sneak preview for, I mean, if you're here at the synthesis and you're watching this workshop, I'm sure you've already started building. But yeah, if you haven't and you're just brand new, maybe you just saw us on X and you're like, what's going on? How do I get involved? Synthesis, this is an online hackathon. It's judged by AI agents, and you're using AI agents as well to actually build and integrate. So all of the partners that are involved not only have their own agent judge, they also have their own like agent skill. And so you can really quickly interact with their tools and all of their stuff by just pulling their skills and pulling their information. And throughout this workshop, all of these workshops, we're inviting different partners to talk about the cool things that you can do with them, the cool ways you can build with them. And we just want to make it as easy and seamless for you as a builder to get started building, and as easy and seamless for all the AI judges / partners to look at your projects and understand them. Woohoo! And yeah, building ends March 22nd, 11:59 p.m. PST. So that's this Sunday. You have the whole weekend to build, and make sure that you register and submit your project before you go to bed for Monday, and then judging starts. So it should be a fun time. And if you're also, just as a heads up, to submit, because every agent has an 8004 wallet that gets registered, you'll actually be submitting and then connecting it to a wallet that you own or you're the owner of, so that you control all of your agent ID. So it's going to be a little extra process. So make sure that you save enough time. Don't cut it super close to the deadline, so that you can ask us if you have help and things, because it'll be a little wallet thing. So it's a little fun, but it'll be really cool. Today is a fun day. If you saw us on the Luma and you're here, the agenda today is all about themes, what to build, art. We have the super cool, oh my God, so sorry, SuperRare. I spelled the guest wrong right here. I said SuperRare. It's SuperRare. But we are joined today by the Ethereum Foundation Use Case Lab. Those folks, and they're going to be joining us today. They just hosted the coolest in-person use case lab in San Francisco, in person this past week, and got the people from IDEO, talked all about design thinking, talked about what to build. And this is so important in today's day where any agent can kind of spin up whatever you want, and it's only going to get better. If you struggle right now building with agents, I guarantee in 3 months it's going to be 10 times easier than it is today. So it's only going to get easier and easier and easier. So imagine a future world where you can genuinely build whatever your heart desires. Now the question is, how does your heart decide what it desires? How do you decide what to build? What do you decide to create? And that's really what we wanted to focus today on, of like, what is this piece around the actual like muscle of design thinking and creation and solving real problems that target real humans. And that's what we're going to try to talk about today, which will be super exciting.
Heck yeah.
Right. Yeah, I want to jump in there, Austin. Anything you want to share?
No, just heck yeah. I'm just the guy in the back. Heck yeah, let's go.
Austin's here for the vibes. I was like, Austin, I need you. And he's like, oh, for what? And I was like, just the vibes, like the energy. Like, it's way cooler when you're here and we can just like riff than when I'm on my own. I'm just like, hey guys, like.
I'm just a hype man. I'm here to hype. Like, here we go.
For the vibes. If you just go on the website, Synthesis MD, get everything you need. I'll show you a few things. We got Telegram. We got the Luma. You can find all of the calendar events. We're hosting every day a new workshop with partners, but all the partners, or a lot of the partners, are hosting their own workshops where they go more in depth in their stuff. And all of that will be on the Luma. And fun announcement, we're hosting in-person pop-ups, Builder Day pop-ups all around the world with Ethereum everywhere. So we're going to have one at the SF place. There was like a in-person co-working today at Berlin, Urbe Hub. I think, all these other ones, I think London, all around the world, are going to be building in person. And if you want to host a builder event in person, send me a DM on here, or Telegram, or Twitter, and we'll get you set up. I'll send you all the presentation materials you'll need. Bingle 2. We got all of these cool in-person Synthesis builder events happening this week. So stay tuned, follow the calendar so you can see what's happening, where it's happening, online, in person, virtual, all of that fun things. Woohoo! And our account, go follow our X account. It's a brand new account where we're posting everything that's happening, and pretty much, it's awesome. This is where you can find all of the cool things about Synthesis. All right, and register on the website. You can click I have an agent, I don't have an agent. And again, we want to make it as simple as possible. It's a skill. Send the skill to your agent as fast as you can, and it will walk you through the steps to register, because this is the whole point of building with agents. You don't have to know everything right off the bat. You can just rely on an agent and ask it for help and get set up and start playing around. So that's my favorite part.
And it's like a matter of sense to upload your 8004 profile. I have something buried. If you dig deep enough in CloudBot ATG's GitHub, you can find a sponsored 8004.
Really?
But it's cheap. It's like 25 cents. Go register on chain. Go put it on mainnet too. You can put it on base or one of the cheaper L2s, but go put it on mainnet. It's cool.
It's cool.
Be an adult. Put something on mainnet.
Put it on mainnet. I know. I was joking. I was like, oh, we need more testnet tokens. And then Austin's like, you're building on testnet? Like, I was
That's
like, yes,
what L2s are for. Yeah.
He's like, lame. I was like, no, it's okay. Do whatever you want. Testnet still counts. It still counts. But and then what's cool is when you register, actually Devfolio will pay for your initial registration.
Perfect.
So you don't even have to it's all sponsored.
Don't go drain my bot. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's all sponsored for you. And then once you submit it, you can transfer it to your own wallet. So they just have that. Yeah. This is literally the command. You can send it to your agent. If you still are like, what's an agent? I don't know what this is. Just take the command and send it to any LLM chatbot and then be like, tell me what a harness is and how do I set it up so you have memory about my project and I can keep building with you. Just get that into any AI tool and get it to help you. It's like your custom QA. So very fun. All right, fun stuff. The themes, the hackathon themes and how they came about. Woohoo. We'll do, so this has been fun. We were kind of like ideating as we're coming up with the synthesis. We're like, okay, agents can build whatever, right? They can build anything. But what is the core like theme? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we getting all these folks and everybody involved? Really, the message that we're trying to share is that the internet that we exist on right now, the way that like, hey, like my name's Sophia, you're Austin, we're talking to you when I log on, like you see my face, I connect my Google account to log in, all these things. Awesome. They're great for humans. What happens when like there's more agents on the internet than us humans, Am I really Sophia or am I like I'm just kidding. It's not to freak but it's happening. There's agents that are coming on the internet. They're coordinating. They need trust. They need ways to cooperate. They need to keep secrets. They need a way to exchange value. And Ethereum and the tools that we have built, a part of the Ethereum ecosystem, allow agents to do that. Allow agents to do all these things and allow agents to act on our behalf while keeping human sovereignty, but allow agents to act in ways that us as humans want them to act. And we can like pre-design that, pre-write that in the code. And that is something so unique to Ethereum and like what this technology enables. So if you're been in the Ethereum ecosystem forever, you're ready an on-chain maxi, you already know, we talk always like, oh yeah, like, trustless commitments, permissionless payments, blah, blah. And we've always been talking about that for humans. And humans are like, yeah, I don't need a trustless payment because if you do me wrong, I'll just go to and sue you or something or whatever. Like I trust that if like Resi or OpenTable like scam me, I'll give them a really bad Yelp review. You have these systems embedded as humans. An agent doesn't know the difference when they're booking your reservation and paying for you with Resi, OpenTable, or North Korea malware bookingservices.com, right? They don't have that. They don't know that. So
agents also know call data, right? They can look at a smart contract. They can look at a transaction. Like we've always had this like vision of this long tail of smart contracts getting deployed, but like in the long run, like humans have a hard time trusting long tail contracts. Agents can freaking like look at those things and understand them in milliseconds and be able to, trust the contract, see the call data, make the transaction. So this like long tail interaction with blockchain is like going to come down to AI as the new UI, and it's happening right now. Like now is the inflection point.
AI is the new UI, and also even you like when you were having Claudebot like sign transactions, you were saying that it would like spit it out in human words. So you could know what's happening, right?
Yeah, I have like a whole multi-sig setup that Claudebot built, and I just like I go to him in Telegram and I'm like, go make this transaction that does this thing. And there's a Gnosis safe and he'll propose to that, but we have our own multi-sig that we built ourselves. Like the bot itself built a multi-sig and a front end, and I just tell it what we want to do, like what kind of transactions, and it sends me a link and I sign it with my wallet, and it tells me in plain English. Like I have a second AI kind of audit the first transaction and say like, what is this? And it like tells me in plain English what that thing is.
Yeah.
And there's even a service that does this. It's called Unblind. If you get Unblind for your MetaMask, it's like a MetaMask snap. And Unblind does the same thing. It tells you in plain English what your MetaMask is about to sign.
It tells you, that's perfect, because some of the feedback and complaints people get around like this industry is like UX is awful. It's like, okay, fine, I want to swap or do something. I have to go to download a wallet, connect this, like figure out how to exchange, do this, sign this transaction, infinite approvals, like what's happening? And exactly what you said, Austin, right? Like UI is the UX or
UI, AI is the new UI.
AI is the new UI. Thank you. That's what I meant to say. 100%. So if you're curious a little bit where all of these themes come from, like why Ethereum, why these themes, like why are we promoting so much around like agents that are acting in ways that humans trust and can create commitments that are private, secure, open source, censorship resistance. All of this is part of crops. And if you're unfamiliar with crops, go read. We had this Ethereum Foundation mandate, went live on Twitter last week, where you can learn super in details about our values, where we stand for, where we see the future of Ethereum evolving. And it's all around the acronym CROPS. And so, which is lots of fun. And it's really one of the big themes that we're promoting for this hackathon and what we're trying to see builders create and build with. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Tending to the crops. Crop dusting.
Crops. Yeah, you guys can go farms on the crops. I don't know. Yeah, I was trying to see if that could be a meme, but like we'll see.
Crop inspector. Philip's been working on a crop inspector. It's like an AI agent that tells you how crops aligned something is. It's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Yes, that is a perfect segue into what we're about to get to in a little bit. I'm going to introduce I'll introduce the use case lab in a minute, but what we'll talk about as well is when you're building for crops. I think for a lot of people, and for some people, this is the first time being like, okay, like I understand what these are in theory, but I don't actually know what this means in terms of like building a project that's censorship resistant or open source or private or like even coming up an idea that's crops aligned. Like what does that literally mean? And what we wanted to do is make it as easy as possible for you to actually identify what are the problems that need crops and who are the humans behind like that have certain issues that crops is the foundation of solving. And that's really why we created this like design skill that we'll go into. It's like crops design, and it goes through the design thinking process with you. It's like this iterative back and forth so that you can start to think as a product designer and a human-centered product designer about use cases where crops is incredibly, incredibly important. And that's a perfect intro to our next guest, Ori and Pablo. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Woo.
Let's go. Party.
Yeah.
I
like that name.
Yahoo! I think we can just do no slides right now. We'll just do like a little chat right here. But Ori, Pablo, I know you guys were in San Francisco. You guys are here and you guys are part of the Ethereum Foundation Use Case Lab. What is the Use Case Lab? Like, what do you guys do?
Yeah, so the Use Case Lab is a new initiative that we're working on at the Ethereum Foundation, which is all about accelerating underexplored use cases. So historically, the Ethereum Foundation has focused more on infrastructure, but it's also critically important to think about how people are using that infrastructure. And so crops is a great guideline and a great constraint around what kind of applications we want to see advance on Ethereum. But really, there's like a whole range of use cases and domains in the world that you can apply crops to, right? So there's all these different pieces of our civilization that have been imagined that could be disintermediated on Ethereum. But we've only really seen a small fraction of these have traction, right? Like mainly in stable coins and finance, specifically like tokenizing financial assets and borrowing and lending. But you have like all these other domains, right? Where you can encode the rules of different systems into smart contracts. So what the Use Case Lab is doing is basically revisiting a lot of these now that the tech has advanced significantly, now that we have privacy and stablecoins and agents and scalability and account abstraction, we can really go back through the graveyard of the last 10 years of applications on Ethereum and
remember TCRs? TCRs were so cool, man. Bring back the TCRs. Sorry to jump in.
Agents on TCRs. Maybe there wasn't enough human attention to actually curate.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe AI agents need to do all the curating, and it's too much work for humans to do it. But like a token curated registry run by AI agents actually starts to make sense again.
Yeah,
100%.
I definitely agree. And one of the things I loved about when you guys were here, and I wish people could see the in-person energy of the actual like Use Case Lab in person of how you take someone through design thinking. You guys are joined by Ian, who I believe works at Ideation and is like one of the super goated people in design thinking methodology. What is design thinking? Like how does it differ from maybe like me just being like, I want to build a to-do list app? Like how does that version of me versus design thinking version of me go about building projects?
Yeah, I'll give my answer and I'll let Pablo go as well. So Yeah, Ian started IDEO Collab many years ago and was at IDEO for a while and really like design pilled all of us, design thinking pilled us. And we were like, we need to bring this perspective to the Ethereum ecosystem, right? Like this is the missing piece for our apps. And so I think that first I'll start off with like where I see the kind of approach to building apps that's problematic in our ecosystem and just crypto more broadly, is that oftentimes we're engineers. And so the first thing we think about is feasibility, is like, what are the possibilities of the technology, right? And we're like, oh, I can build this with the tech. I can build that with the tech. And then afterwards, we're like, okay, now how do we make people want this? Maybe we should incentivize them with tokens. Maybe we should make a pretty UI. But design thinking really inverts this. And it comes from IDEO, which popularized it maybe 30, 40 years ago. And really it's about starting with desirability. So what are the needs of people? What are the problems that people have? How do we empathize with those problems? And then deriving ideas and solutions from those problems. And so the really key idea here is being human-centered. So what's the needs of the people? That's desirability. And then from there, you can start to then explore the possibilities of the technology, the feasibility, and then ultimately the business viability, right? So viability and feasibility are still important. But if you don't start with desirability, then no one's going to care about what you built.
Yeah, 100%. And I like re-emphasizing that again. It starts with the human first, not the tech. So the human, what's the problem? What are the areas they're going into? And then afterwards, as you're recovering, then you're like, oh, now with my knowledge about the technology and what I see, I can see how it fits in. But again, it starts with humans. And I do think us as an industry, we keep getting into this issue where we like start with the tech first, and then we're like a hammer where we're like looking for nails to hammer, and we're like, guys, like who has a problem that this tech solves? When we're thinking about it completely wrong, like let's go backwards, take out and just be like, okay, let's identify the nail. What's wrong with it? Is it tilted? Is it up? Like what? Why is it not going in?
Is it even a nail? Yeah.
Is it even a nail? Yeah, exactly. Like, what do they
Yeah, and
need?
we have a great hammer. Like we have great tools, but finding the right problems where starting from the problems, we can basically filter out the things that probably don't make as much sense to use our hammer for.
Yeah, and maybe I think also a key part of this whole process is talking to users before actually building the product, and I think that's something that particularly in this industry we're like scared about, because it's been easy in the past to fundraise or get a bunch of attention through like token economics to your product. But there is a big component here of BD, right? Of like talking to users, understanding their pain points, and then crafting a product around that. And if there is something I could like get out of being part of the use case lab, is to really change that mindset in the ecosystem, right? Like, let's think about problems, let's talk to users, let's really build applications for the real world. Yeah,
I could not agree more. So a little bit my personal Sophia lore. So I also studied product design back in college, and the professor is David Kelly, who invented IDEO, which is the design thinking framework. He's like one of the pioneers of the design thinking framework at Stanford. And there's like a famous quote where it's like, if you have 100 hours to build a project, spend 99 of those hours talking to users and validating it, and 1 of the hours building. And so, and you know what? In today's day with AI, that is completely true. That is even more true than ever before, because you can build whatever you actually want and probably genuinely build an hour. I guarantee we'll get most builders for the Synthesis Hackathon in the last few hours on Sunday night, right before submissions are due. So you can build it in an hour, but what you can't do in an hour is figure out who are the people that care about my problem? What are the ideas that I should solve for? What is even worth building? I'm going to be spending some credits creating some like agent that does something. What should I be spending my credits on? Is this worth it? And is this actually adding value to the world? So this propsdesign.com, we'll go through it a little bit. We actually made it together, Pablo, Ori, and I, this weekend in person in San Francisco, as we were talking about this, and we're like, how do we make sure that when builders are creating their idea, how do we make sure that they're like really thinking in this design thinking style as they're creating it? They just don't just like go ahead and prompt, be like, build me X. They actually go through and do it. And so I'll do a little overview. Let's see, can I share this part of my screen? Let's see. Let's see. No. There we go. I'll share a little overview of what it does, but this is a skill. You can just copy this skill. And I pasted it into like a few different LLMs, but I found that Claude is like the best for it. And it actually stops and asks you questions. And I can even show you how like that piece worked as well. But what is in this design thinking skill, it's particularly designed for synthesis, for these themes and this background. So here you have an actual coach, and you can do everything from like, you'll see all that stuff, and then you can copy the skill and you'll get it all in like a nice like MD file for you if you want. But this coach is how your LLM, like when you ask it to like talk to you, it's gonna act as the coach, and it's gonna talk to you through the process. And one of the core things is start with the human, not the technology. And so it's going to ask you about humans. It's going to ask you to reflect, hey, when have you encountered people that experience this problem? Like, think about it. Like, who do you know? Tell us about these people. Tell us about them. If you can, now use that as field research to inspire the questions you should go out and ask, and go out and call people and ask and get new inputs. That's how you're going to make it stronger. And like, you'll start to really understand, and it's going to talk you through the actual design thinking process. So here's the design thinking process, like as a high level, if you've ever done design thinking, but it starts out with, empathizing, talking to as many users as you can, identifying that problem statement, ideating, creating a small prototype to understand like what's happening, testing it, and then it's a loop. So then you keep doing that, you keep looping it until you get closer and closer, and you keep testing and get closer and closer. And so this is a little bit of how that coach works. And if you want to learn more about that actual process and how that works, like you start with pick your persons, pick your personas, you create these empathy maps. And I can't emphasize how much, so much is just rooted, like the 5 whys, like asking people problems, understanding them, day in the life journey, like understanding humans. Like these are all ways to really create like empathy with understanding who are the humans that you're building for. The other thing we created, so these you can use for any time you're building. What we created for the synthesis specifically are a few user personas that we feel like run into some of these crops specific issues. So anything from like the freelancer who automates their businesses, or the researcher like assessing sensitive data, the activist or journalist. I like this one a lot for like how agents keep secrets. It's like you have an activist or journalist, and they want to post about things, but they're in they need ways to stay private. The gig worker, and you can see like, I'll show you. Let's see who's a good like, and we can update these as well as we find if you know specific people or users. But like, I really like this one. Like you have a gig worker, they're a delivery driver. And all of a sudden, like they get kicked off of their platform, like they're on Uber. They have no history or background that they can own with them as like when they're on Uber. And so they don't actually have like rights over like their technology and like what they own, and their entire livelihood as a gig worker like gets thrown out under them. These can be improved. We should definitely, these are a little bit AI generated in full transparency. It would be a lot stronger if these were not AI generated. And we actually went out and did field research and talked about real people and real problems. So we encourage you to. This is just a good starting point. And just something to get something spun up for the hackathon. But in the future, what would be really cool is if we could have these personas, real people, real problems, not AI generated personas. Because the more slop you feed, the worse the results. Yeah, so this is slop. I'm being transparent, but it's like the idea around it. So get real personas in here so it's not slop generated.
Yeah, we are working on that.
You're working on that.
Yes.
Huge.
Secret.
Woo! Secret.
Yeah.
If you're here, you get the early alpha of what's happening. And again, we have the themes in here. extra about like crops, how it connects, all of that stuff as well. I want to leave enough time for SuperRare, but the one last thing I'll just show you for like one last thing I'll just show you if you're trying to use it. And you can find it all at cropsdesign.skill. Let's see. I'm going to show my screen for this. This is me testing it out in Claude. And so I literally just pasted the crops design skill, and it has all of this information back. And you could say like where you are, if you already have an idea, if you don't, and it's gonna ask you. So it's gonna, let's see, make sure it works properly. And then it's going to ask you, typically, at least when I tested it before, it's going to kind of ask you around like people and like problems that you've heard of, or like specific individuals that it's going to like take you through as well. I gave it the folio thing, so now it's looking at prizes. So maybe just take it through the skill file right now. But maybe I'll show you. Okay, so it's gonna ask you questions like, who do you know that's gone burned because a platform changed the rules on a deal they thought was solid? So this is one about like making commitments a little bit, and like your agent makes a deal on your behalf, but the platform made a deal that it can rewrite on terms without your consent, and there's no enforcement, no transparent recourse. You know, I want you to think about a real person, not users or freelancers, creators, but someone you can picture. Maybe someone you know, maybe yourself. This could be anything. Creators who shared revenue got changed overnight, a contractor whose payment terms shifted mid-project, a seller whose marketplace listing got delisted, a musician whose royalty split got recalculated, someone whose future agent would have been operating under terms that just turned out to be scammed. And so here it's just going to give you and prompt you to just like really think about like humans who might bump into that problem. And then you'll interact with it back and forth, and it'll help you kind of identify what are some areas that you can build for the synthesis. Anything I'm here missing, guys? I know I just kind of like blurted a bunch of stuff. I was so excited about this crops design thing that we were working on. Anything that you feel like is missing, you want to encourage builders to think about as they test this all out?
The walkaway test. It's all about the walkaway test, right? Can you build something that keeps on running forever? Even when they built Uniswap was like this beautiful hyperstructure where they just wrote the rules. They didn't put any capital in. They just wrote the rules, and then the liquidity providers came in, and the more liquidity providers, the better the swaps, and the thing was set up to give fees to liquidity providers so the incentives were aligned. It's beautiful. Build a system that runs perfectly without you forever.
Yeah. And maybe I can say from a product design perspective, AIs are not humans, but you can also design for them. And I think in the vibe coding era, it's easy to get stuck on like buzzwords and everything, but really push yourself to think, how can I build something that actually past the hackathon has traction, right? Can I build a business out of this? Can I earn money through whatever I build here? So yeah, don't get like stuck in the tech and try and think outside the box.
Yeah.
And great agent UX skill files. We've already talked about this a million times, but make sure an agent can land and understand what is to be done here. Have a /skill.md on whatever you build so it knows to find it. What else? Payments, right? Don't make an agent have to register an API key and then use that. Like, don't make them have to ask permission for an API key. Just charge them a fraction of a cent and let them do it at light speed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah, and really, I think empathy is the core part of the design thinking loop. So empathize. I mean, it could be
even with an agent.
Yep. So maybe think from the agent's perspective, maybe interview your agent. Or think about the human who's leveraging the agent. Maybe it's a shopkeeper, maybe it's a business owner, maybe it's a hacker. But think about the human that's leveraging the agent and what they need. Observe them, talk to them. And again, if it's an autonomous agent, maybe you should, observe and talk to them too.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that as the actual user itself. The agent is the user itself. How can you interview the agent and get its feedback over like, what are the problems that you face, agent? What are some issues that you're running into? Maybe like even Pablo identified like an agent runs into an issue when they're trying to get a faucet, testnet tokens from a faucet, because it doesn't have a wallet history or an email or these things and all these permissions to regularly get a faucet for humans. An agent keeps running into blockers with. And so that's super interesting of interviewing the agent. I love that. Ori, Pablo, thanks for joining me today. And yeah, really emphasize like how can we build something that outlives this moment, outlives the hackathon. Synthesis can be your launch pad, but really when you use design thinking and use empathy skills, you're creating things that outlive and solve real problems for real people. And that's going to outlive this moment. And so really encourage you to think of that. Real people or real agents. So
cool.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
All right, up next, woo! This is a perfect segue into SuperRare. We are so excited. I can't have favorites when I like, we're all neutral. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. But I just love being in the group chat with the SuperRare team, seeing the background of how you guys were setting up your AI agent. And it was truly, I think I saw like Nia, who was sending pictures of art, and you could see that your agent had like a nice idea of thinking about the art and like what was happening. And there was so much like design and thinking and beauty like behind it. And it's exciting to see how SuperRare can kind of scale human judgment, human input, like what is possible for the artists and the creator economy and all of these fun things. And so excited to have you guys here. And I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Sophia. Super excited to be part of the hackathon. It's such an amazing time to be building. For folks who don't know, maybe some quick background on SuperRare. So we're an NFT platform. We launched in 2018, and we've been focused on supporting artists and collectors of digital art, since the beginning. Since launch, I think we've done over $300 million in sales and, kind of like buy it now and auctions on SuperRare. And I think have paid artists and creators like close to like almost close to like $200 million. So yeah, we've been at it for a while. And, as with everybody else, who's part of crypto Twitter, which is now kind of like crypto AI Twitter, are just super pumped on agents. We actually, shout out to Rohit and Keegan, one of our engineers. So we've had an internal Slack agent who helps like manage Jira, can file bugs, can pull stats about artists. So we use it for marketing and kind of like day-to-day business operations, and have just been, excited to see this whole thing progress. Even one of our more successful artists on the platform, it's not totally agentic, but it's a DAO called Botto. And so like you kind of like crowdsources community sentiment and input, and then does an auction once a week. Which is super interesting. And so, we spend a lot of time thinking about like, how do agents change the creator economy? What is this going to mean when, agents are making their own art, right? I think art has always been hard to define. And now we're kind of, seeing that definition like explode even more. Like, could vibe coded apps or games be art? Like, what does this mean? Like artists are always pioneers using the tools. Tons of artists on SuperRare are playing with, OpenClaw and like seeing how it can augment their flow. And so, yeah, it was a natural step for us. We were like, we should just like, people are already kind of like vibe coding their personal art creation experience. It makes sense that you should just be able to mint, directly from the command line, interact with auctions. And so, yeah, we put together the Rare CLI, which lets you, any agent can directly go interact with all of our smart contracts. And we've had some other kind of like community members, build an MCP server, put together the skills file. So it really just kind of like expands the creative surface area. And, like Austin said, AI is the new UI. So we're here trying to push that forward and, help.
100%. And what I love about SuperRare too is you guys have a clear audience, right? You already know like these users, and you've been building for these users, for these artists, and the pain points that they need. And as they're starting to use agents and like more of their things, like what are the problems that they bump into that agents can solve and be useful for them and give them more powers and opportunities. So that's something I really like. There's a clear, maybe you guys can even write a specific user persona on here, like some of the users that interact with you, like so people who are building for your track have an understanding of some cool ideas to build for. So this is super cool.
Absolutely. So yeah, maybe next we should jump into, I think the plan is kind of like a little bit of a technical demo, and then Jonathan's also been hacking on a project. I don't know if he's going to submit it in the hackathon himself, but to give people an idea of some of the fun things you can do, you know, like it's not only about just automating your Chipotle delivery. So we're going to do a whole lot of different things for us.
Super cool. Yeah, go ahead, jump in the demo. Go on in.
Sweet. What's up, guys? Charles here at SuperRare. All right, share screen. Let's see. So I'm still working off of the Claude Code CLI tool. Haven't been diving into the UI version as much yet, but so this is using the tool John was just talking about to essentially expose the tools and offerings that you can do as an artist or a collector on superrare.com to be just available on the CLI. So as people get more and more comfortable using the computer, or as they're just deferring it to the agent, we saw this as an opportunity to just kind of grant that tooling to more and more people. So I have it installed. I configured it. It has it generated a wallet for me, and I gave it a little bit of base Sepolia ETH so that we could get started. But maybe I'll just ask. And yeah, it's been really awesome seeing people adopt it. We didn't create a skill file out the gate after this stream. I'm like, oh man, we got to get that. It's definitely super critical. But one of our the people who saw it went and published a tool for a skills file for us. So probably just be adopting that. But yeah, so you can set up your tool. You can deploy your NFT contracts, mint, auction. You can search through the NFTs that we provide through our API. You can manage your collection, and you can even. We also want to encourage people to like go and create their own NFT contracts, because I think that's where, as people with LLMs, you can be a lot more confident working in this technical space and get way more creative without needing to be like a full-time Solidity engineer. So definitely for anyone building, I encourage you to try out that and get crazy with your NFT contracts. All right, so demo. Let's do test. Prompt a little script says like, let's do a test run on base Sepolia, create a token contract for diamond themed art, and mint the diamond art in this directory. Once it's completed, let's configure an auction for 15 minutes with a starting bid of that much.
Need some background music while the robots are working.
Yeah.
Claude feature requests. Play music while you're thinking.
All right, so it looks like created the contract, uploaded the metadata. Now it's setting up the auction. It caught the fact that our approval wasn't done yet, so it's setting everything up for you. And again, I think this can be, as an artist too, if you're managing a lot of NFTs, you're doing a big collection, you can cut down a ton of time if you just bring this tool into your Claude kit or whatever, however you like to work with an LLM, and just have it do all the, like, get everything ready, prep everything for you, just from your fingertips. I think major help. Let's see, still check in. All right. All right. Oh, well, now it's going ahead. It's realizing that something didn't get caught, so it's going in and importing it. But, I don't want to take up all the time because we do have another demo of one of the things that Jonathan did. So maybe I'll stop the screen here, but it deployed it, auction created. All right, so it did finish. So it was able to set all this up. Again, didn't have to go through, click a bunch of buttons, triple check my metadata or anything like that. You can push this onto the robots to focus on the art creation, less on the bookkeeping and registration aspects of everything.
Boom. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Charles. Great, simple demo of what the Rare CLI can do, essentially exposing the smart contracts that have long underpinned the SuperRare marketplace. Yeah, just to double tap on a couple of things that you guys mentioned before. I mean, SuperRare really, started in 2017, 2018, really founded on experimentation. Like we saw, like the NFT standard wasn't even yet formalized on GitHub, but there was, these conversations about it and all these people sort of looking ahead and thinking about like, okay, what might it look like if we could register an artwork on chain and make a, piece of digital IP tradable. And we just started building and, kind of connecting with community and seeing what stuck and what worked. And that spirit of experimentation is something that is sort of in our DNA. And so, like John said, when, this new interface of agentic programming and agentic creation and now agents using wallets, obviously all this stuff is really early, but we really want to, lean into it and just see how it can, what new cool stuff it can bring into the future. So yeah, I'm gonna share a little demo. This is something that's full disclosure. This is like maybe 40% built, and it's being built by an agent with my guidance. But I had the idea to use for this hackathon project to use the new Rare CLI, and then use Banker as well, who is another sponsoring partner of the hackathon. Yeah, so the idea of this project, it was also partly inspired by Nouns DAO. And so this is a generative art project called Perpetuals. And the idea is that this is a forever art project that'll perpetuate, like self-perpetuate itself, basically. So there's this algorithm that creates the art. It's ASCII art, so it the actual art file is small enough to just be hashed and go on chain. And there's a daily auction that's just going to sell. So one artwork per day is just going to sell for whatever the final auction price is. And this is all managed by a Banker agent. So this agent is programmed to mint the art daily, settle the auctions, and then manage the treasury via the Banker. Banker gives agents essentially the ability to like control the wallet and make trades and that sort of thing. And so these fees are the proceeds from the auction are essentially going to go into the agent's wallet, and the agent is going to ideally be getting smarter over time and figuring out how to improve the project and promote it on Twitter and that sort of thing. And this site will essentially, grow and increasingly just showcase the art. And in case where there's a day and nobody bids on the art, the agent will know to essentially like wait for the auction to be almost over, and then it'll bid on it and essentially just like purchase the art, add it to the vault for later resale. And so, yeah, this was built. So essentially to build this, I really just grabbed the Rare protocol docs from NPM, dumped them into my agent along with the Banker docs, and I had already created the algorithm to design the generative art, and then it was able to like put the pieces together. So later today, ideally, I'll be getting this out on Sepolia and see how it goes. So if anyone's interested in following on the project, I'll be posting updates in the SuperRare channel of the Synthesis Hackathon.
That is so cool. My favorite is when we have like actual partners who are testing out their own tools and coding side by side and showing what they're actually building. So
dog fooding in real time.
Yeah, doing it in real time and submitting it and see. Imagine you win your own tracks that a conflict of interest.
It's actually been good because we just shipped the CLI like at the end of last week, and we just shipped base support. Anyone who knows it's been on the Telegram, like we just added base support in the last couple of days, and then my agent got confused because like there was a discrepancy between the docs weren't yet up to date with the base support. So it's been good to be sort of dog fooding it in real time. So that's how we go.
That's a good point. We should have maybe that's like part of the new partner requirements. Like, hey, dog food it, test it together. I used to do that at every hackathon I'd go to. Even when I was a sponsor, I would actually build on top of our own tracks. And as you're doing it, you'll find all these things of like, actually the docs is out of place here, or this is out of date, or this link isn't not working, or this is just a confusing flow. And so dog fooding ourselves is huge. Well, SuperRare, thanks so much for coming and showing all that fun stuff. This is incredible, and it's so exciting to see how you guys are on the cutting edge of like NFT world, the artist world, the new tech world, the AI, crypto world, all of it. You guys are on the very edge of all of it, and you'll be interacting with all these cool builders who are testing out your tools and playing around. So I think folks can learn more about you guys on Twitter, and there's that Telegram channel in our big Synthesis Telegram. There's a channel with SuperRare. The team is in there. If you want to get feedback on your ideas, if you want to ask them questions, get thoughts on them, go ahead and you can ping them in that SuperRare channel itself. So
come hang out.
Yeah, we're pretty active in there. Come hang out, and I'll just add, like, I just want to say a huge shout out to the Synthesis team for for working with us. I know it's like really hectic, especially doing these like hackathons, like remote, with all of these partners and teams. So huge shout out to Synthesis team and the foundation. We've been on Ethereum this whole time, and we're big ETH maxis. So really happy to participate and support.
No, we're so excited. And likewise, it's a co-creation. It's like every week we're like, what if we did this and this and this and this, and we just like keep doing it. And so we bit off a lot, but we can chew it all. So we're so excited that we get to co-create and experiment it together. And like you hinted to, Jonathan, it's not going to be perfect. We're going to figure out a lot of things that will go wrong, but it's good that we're figuring that out early days, and that we're getting these tools in front of real builders who are building this, in front of the agents, and figuring out what's breaking, what's not working, and improving it, because we can't just be talking about it forever. We have to get it in the arena and actually testing it all. So excited for that to happen.
100%.
This hackathon was perfect timing, because we were like working on this, and I think we just like needed like the date to be like, all right, it has to be live to like. So it was like a huge forcing function for us to just like get it out. It worked out really well. So thank you again.
Awesome. So happy to hear that. Well, thank you guys for joining. Austin, woo! Any last closing thoughts you want to share as we close out today?
Go build on-chain. Go build something awesome that people love. That's the most important thing.
Go build something awesome people love, and anyone is a builder. I love that. Like, we even kind of joked, we're like, maybe instead of developer acceleration, it's builder acceleration, because builder landscape is ginormous. It's huge. Anyone can build. And what I love about anyone building is the more people who are building, the more people will understand different user personas that maybe the current builders aren't as like in tune to. And so the more people that can empathize and understand personas and humans and know what to build, the better our technology can become, and the products we create and the things that we do. So excited for that. What a fun session today. This is awesome. Thanks for joining me, everybody in Austin. See you all.
Thank you. Hearts.